I've beat their children in success and all that. These people are not happy about my success.
There are so many unfortunate events that have been unfolding in your life since you graduated. Can you kindly elaborate what has been happening in your life?
Actually, it even goes a bit before the graduation, because in the same year that I graduated, a very prominent individual who was my uncle, who was a provincial information officer, of whom I looked forward to kickstarting my career, passed away that August. And then immediately after we buried him, I graduated. After graduating is when my friends decided to take me to a trip to Nanyuki to celebrate my successes. And that's when we had an accident, a fatal accident that claimed one of us. And prior to that accident, I'd been called for an interview by the Public Service Commission for a position of a district officer. And due to the accident, I missed the date of the interview. And having reapplied later and later and again and again and again, I never succeeded in getting a position in that place. So I was employed by a Christian organization as a driver. And just having worked for 2 years, the ministry died because of internal wrangles. I was left again unemployed. And that is when I was sent to, I fortunately got a position, a scholarship by the Swedish government to pursue a diploma in environmental journalism and communication at Makerere University. And having finished, coming back to Kenya, I tried my luck in the media houses. But unfortunately, I was not able to get one. But there was an individual who gave me an article to write about. And in that article, I interviewed a few ministers and it was published, but it was not awarded to me. So having a family by that time, I did not see any reason why I should be working for people who are not paying me. So I decided to go Jua Kali. Now going Jua Kali, I was employed by, my sister got me a position in a microfinance organization that was lending money to micro and macro organizations. And I excelled very fast because in 6 months I had been able to raise a portfolio of 17 million with clients. Little did we know that there were some of the groups, there were women groups. Some of the women groups were going to River Road, as they say, and making receipts, payment receipts that appeared like they had paid the loan. You see, my job was to collect the receipts and hand them over to the accountant. So the accountant, in his weaknesses, he did not cross-check with the statements. And so we lost a huge amount of money, which they blamed me because some of those groups belonged to my portfolio. And so in that tangle, and I lost the job. I was put in for a few days in Lavington, but then I was released because there was, it was later discovered that it was the women who were doing it. And me, I had a loan, and I was faithful in paying it every time. So after that, I got a position with a person who had a freight forwarding company who gave me the position of managing his fleet. In that position is when I was able to come into contact with an individual who had given a favor, who got me a position at a company where I was made a transporter. So having a good account and a pay slip, I was able to get a loan, and I got a few vans. I was doing very well, very, very well. And that's when one of my trucks, unfortunately, lost luggage on transit to Kisumu that was worth millions. The insurance, on the other hand, refused to compensate me. I had the insurance of goods on transit, but they did not pay me for they refused liability because they said there were contradicting statements between my loader and the driver. And so I was given a deadline of either I produce the goods or I give the worth of the goods. So since I did not have any other source of income, I decided to sell my fleet. So having sold my fleet, though it did not cover the whole amount of the money owed, I covered a substantial amount, and then I gathered a few loans from individuals. And then at the same period, I think in a span of 2 months, thugs attacked my home. And my home was shaken seriously because my son was sitting his exams that year. So we were attacked twice, 2 days consecutively. So I decided we move out of the place so that we go to a quiet place where my son will be able to study because he was sitting the exams that year. So when we moved, the following holiday, he decided to go visit his grandparents, my parents. And when he got there, they decided to cut a tree. And on cutting that tree, the tree landed on the boy's head and cracked his skull. In fact, it had been pronounced by the villagers that he had passed away because he had produced a lot of foam and had fits. And as they were rushing him to hospital is when they saw some movement. Okay, we were able to save him, but again, the bill was over 1.5 million. And then that is when now I started wondering, because now I'm jobless, the monies I had are gone, my home is insecure, I'm in fear, I'm looking for, I'm wondering what is happening to my life. Is that
the point you felt like you are bewitched?
It is not me directly who felt like I was bewitched, but it is in my inquiries. You know, I would visit and ask people, do people experience these things in real life? And then the opinions of the people, majority of them were telling me, no, you know, nowadays things are not what people think. And you people, Kikuyus, you pretend not to believe that there are supernatural stuff and people who consult the spiritual realms and all that. You have been bewitched. It's jealousy because of your success. The first time they did not want you to graduate, they wanted you to die before you graduated. Secondly, they didn't like the success you're having as a transporter. You have a good family, bright children. So there are people around you who are very jealous, and I was even told they cannot be very far away from you. There are people who are around you. And so at that point, you know, when you're told that so many times repeatedly by different individuals who have not consulted, you start to wonder, could this be true? Could it be that this witchcraft thing, though I had not believed it for...
How did you feel when you were first approached with such information?
You see, I gave it thought, and I started thinking, maybe it's true, and maybe this guy, you know, now I start identifying people who I thought maybe this guy would be jealous about me. This other one, I don't think this guy, because I used to have beat their children in success and all that. These people are not happy about my success. And so I started now wondering, what do I do? If it is witchcraft, what am I supposed to do about it? So somebody advised me to visit one of these so-called prophets whom they said they exhaust such stuff, they remove such, they were calling it bad stars, people who are blocking your destiny and nyota yako.
Covered your star.
Yeah, they have blocked you. They were telling me some people even wrap up some money maybe you had given them, tie it with some maybe animal excretion or something.
Yeah, you suffered to a point, it came to a point, you are people from Kabete, they felt like it is time they make you stand up. And they advise you to vie for a seat, of which they help you to campaign and also do the Arambe things, to push you for the seat.
Yes.
How comes they didn't vote for you after all those arrangements that they had?
You see, now that is now where the question comes, because they're the ones who approached me, they're the ones who encouraged me, they're the ones who made me even see myself very popular. Because you know, you can't tell your popularity unless you have scouts who go around interviewing people on how do you think of these candidates. You can have strategies. All these guys were telling me, you are educated, you have charisma,
Did they approach you out of self-pity, or they saw some potential in you?
They didn't know about my other predicaments except the loss of business. They were coming to me as a potential because they had not identified another person whom they could trust with that position. I believed that's what they were doing. So they raised the money, they did everything. We started the campaign. Then all of a sudden they just took off. I was left alone. In fact, on the final day to the elections, it was only me and my son who are going rounds in a borrowed car shouting. Yeah, and it was a shame because in some polling stations I even got 1 vote. And in those polling stations I know there were people who are in that group of encouraging me to vie for that position. There were people over 20 maybe in one polling station, but I only got 1 vote, which means even those who are purportedly to be on my side did not vote for me.
Did their action send you back to a previous state?
Kind of. And I started wondering, did I expose myself again? Because I was being advised that you should not be telling people of your stuff, what you want to do. And now in my position as a vulnerable person, I wasn't supposed to expose my ambitions openly. And so maybe even vying for that position was a mistake. Now that's what my mind was telling me, because now I've again shown my enemies the direction I'm going, and so they have blocked it again. And this time they have blocked it with a lot of shame, because now the shame is published on the results are published for everyone to see in the whole country. And so it is depressing, but then again you go back to the advice that you are told, that do not accept this thing to overtake you. Do not agree that you're dominated again as you are, because it could lead you even maybe to suicide or maybe insanity. And so I took it a step at a time, and I started seeing the reason, what can I say, the reasonable side of it, that I did not do the necessary stuff I was supposed to do while campaigning. In my state, I wasn't myself really. I was like a zombie, you know, because with a lot of fear, you don't act yourself. And everything around you, you feel like there are powers around you, even during those campaign times. And even some people whom you approach, even on the campaign trail, you see like they are possessed and they are after you, you know, because something has really entrenched itself inside you. And it has become a reality that you're living in, that there's a spiritual world, it's real, there's a negative side to it, there's a side that can finish you, there's a side that can really shame you and even make you an insane person. And it is not an easy, and it's not a good place to be. Yeah.
During your dark moments, you stated there are some people you used to suspect that they could be the one behind your predicaments.
Yes.
Did you